If you've ever gone down an internet rabbit hole, you've probably seen it. A place where your favorite characters are living entirely new lives. It's this huge, sprawling, and honestly, unbelievably creative world. Welcome to the world of online fan communities. And right at the heart of this universe is fanfiction. Yeah, we're talking about millions upon millions of stories, all created in this massive, collaborative literary movement that exists completely outside of the normal publishing world. It's a gift culture, you know? The only payment is passion and creativity. But here's the thing, it is so much more than just a hobby. It's this really complex cultural phenomenon, a space that's pushing back on our old ideas about who gets to be an author, what it means to be a reader, and what a story can even be. So that leads us right to the big question of this whole explainer, which is based on an amazing academic paper called Theorizing Fanfiction by Magnifico and Jones. What can this world of fan-written stories actually teach us about how we create and connect with each other in this digital age? To really get what's happening now, we've got to look back, because fanfiction is definitely not some new internet fad. Nope, it has a long and often kinda secret history. I mean, just look at this timeline. People have been remixing stories for centuries. You could even argue that Dante's Inferno was basically fan fiction for his favorite poet, Virgil. We saw it with Sherlock Holmes fans, and then in the 60s, Star Trek fans were creating these things called zines, homemade magazines they literally trade through the mail. Fans have always been the first to jump on new tech, all in the name of sharing their stories. And it all leads up to Archive of Our Own, a library built by fans, for fans, winning a Hugo Award. That's like the Oscars for science fiction. And what's so critical about this history is who was doing all this writing. For decades, this space was shaped and led by women and queer authors. They were often dismissed, even faced legal threats, but they used fanfiction to re-story the pop culture they loved. They were literally rewriting these huge narratives to write themselves in, to see their own experiences in worlds where they were totally invisible. So how does this whole universe even work? Well, these fan communities have built up their own incredible language, their own structure for organizing millions of stories. It is truly the art of the remix. Okay, first thing you gotta know is the ship. It's short for relationship, and it's all about pairing up two characters romantically. The ship is the engine that drives so much of this creativity. It can be a straight pairing, which fans call het, or an LGBTQIA+ pairing, which is known as slash. Then you have my personal favorite, the alternate universe, or AU. This is where writers take characters we love and just drop them into a completely new world. Think coffee shop AU or high school AU. A really cool one from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fandom is the Swanatello AU, where Donatello is reimagined in a story inspired by the ballet Swan Lake. I mean, the possibilities are absolutely endless. Now, let's talk about a super popular genre, hurt/comfort. It is exactly what it sounds like. One character gets hurt, physically or emotionally, and another character takes care of them. It's a really powerful way to explore deep emotional connections, and you'll find it in pretty much every fandom out there. And on the total opposite end of that spectrum, we have fluff. These are stories with zero drama, zero angst. It's all about pure happiness. Just cute, cozy, romantic moments. And when it gets really, really sweet, fans have the perfect name for it: tooth-rotting fluff. Okay, so these tags and tropes, they aren't just quirky little labels. According to Magnifico and Jones, they actually show us a whole new way of thinking about writing. Fanfiction is like a living, breathing laboratory for how stories get made in the 21st century. So the paper uses three big academic ideas to show us why this all matters. First, there's rhetorical genre studies. That just means that genres like fluff aren't just categories, they're social actions people take together. Then there's reader response theory, which says a story's meaning isn't just on the page, it's created when you, the reader, bring your own experiences to it. And finally, transliteracies helps us see how one little idea can spark on Tumblr, become a story on AO3, and then explode across the whole internet. And this is how it happens. It's like a wave. It starts with a spark, an idea that emerges in a conversation on a site like Tumblr. Then, a writer has an uptake moment. They grab that idea and write a story. If the community loves it, you get resonance, comments, fan art, memes, you name it. And finally, if it gets big enough, it achieves scale, spreading so far that it might even bubble up into the mainstream. But this whole creative playground exists in a constant state of tension with the traditional media world. It really sets up this fundamental clash, a gift culture going head-to-head with copyright law. And when you put them side by side like this, the difference is just stark. Fandom values sharing and transformation. The publishing industry values profit and ownership. Fandom thrives on collaboration and open discussion. The industry's all about control. They're basically playing two completely different games with totally different rules. The scholar Anne Jamieson puts it perfectly. She says, fandom can't be about money because, at its core, it's about a free exchange of ideas. It's a community-first philosophy, which is always going to be at odds with a market-first one. And this isn't just some abstract debate. This conflict got very real in the early 2000s. Media companies started sending cease and desist letters to Harry Potter fan sites, trying to shut down what they considered copyright infringement. It was a huge deal. But here's the wild part. Despite all that tension, the influence of fanfiction has only gotten bigger. It's not some hidden subculture anymore. It is actively shaping the future of storytelling, which means the next big thing probably won't come out of a boardroom. It'll come from a fan forum. Okay, let's talk about the most famous example of all time. It started with a writer in the Twilight fandom who wrote an alternate universe story, reimagining the main characters as adults in a very different kind of relationship. Well, that fanfic had its direct ties to Twilight removed, a process fans call filing off the serial numbers, and it got published as 50 Shades of Grey. And yeah, it became a multi-million-dollar global franchise. This was the moment everyone realized that fan-created ideas didn't just have an audience. They had massive, world-changing commercial potential. But its influence goes so much deeper than just one bestseller. Think about it. For decades, slash fanfiction was one of the only places you could find complex, well-developed stories about queer relationships. Fans were doing the work. And now, those very same dynamics, those same narrative beats that were perfected in fandom for years, are being celebrated in huge mainstream shows. The central relationship in Netflix's She-Ra is a perfect example of a fan-favorite enemies-to-lovers dynamic becoming canon. It proves that fans aren't just consuming culture anymore. They are teaching studios what we all actually want to see. Which leaves us with one last big idea to think about. Fanfiction is showing us that the old, clear line between the person who makes a story and the person who enjoys it, well, that line is getting blurrier every single day. So in this new age of remixing, sharing, and restorying, what does it even mean to be an author anymore?